I don't know what the hell's going on. I only know that they're stabbing people left and right. As much as they can get away with intimidating people, they're going to do it. And as far as me, my heart was in like the street, the sense of, hey man, let them smoke a joint. But you know what? They're no friends of mine. I haven't had a friend since my own. I haven't, 2003 was the last time I tried to be, like civil, social, informal. And I went to drug recovery at DA Mancuso's, and I took that to heart, and I did it for real, and I've never looked back on it. I've never slipped, and I've never sold, and I've never used even marijuana, let alone any affiliation or association with anything illicit or legal. I've never done anything off color. I've always been straight with my medical personnel and whoever's involved with me directly. I've not been shady in one way or the other, and I'm trying to get to be a better man as far as my employment capability and my education. Though that's it. But so I'm having these feelings of who the hell am I? Mixtures with what can I do about it, and then it equals where do I go from here? So this is a more personal to the point video, saying I don't want to say with all the political heat about people who don't like people and they're publicly this and that. My name ends in a vowel, but that doesn't make me known to anybody whose name also ends in a vowel. A. Number two, it's easy for me to complain, but I want to do something good and at least be treated like a man, like a person, directly, and help in some capacity, talk to people to come up with better ideas than just calling a cop when I see something shady or violent happening around me. Like they were breaking in my building up till last year. They were breaking the glass into my building downstairs. We were up here trapped like rats behind my locked door with no fire escape, no way out. And enough of that. Over years, we've done that for about 3 years. We've had people doing crazy shit on this corner, doing crazy shit to my building, my stairs. I've been shot at in different apartments over the years. Broken glass, broken in, holes in my window. I don't know who did it personally. I don't know the face. I only know seeing the effect, the result. It's not overly paranoid for me to feel a little bit more of a juice and energy about, knowing the story is capable of and the potential is so, possible. And I have nothing to do with anybody. I haven't got anything to do with anybody. If I didn't have the internet, right, I probably would have my Playboy in the bathroom, and that would be the extent of my deviant, distorted experience. You know what I mean? America. I got the internet. I don't have anybody bother me on my cell phone. I don't bring anybody here. In the past, I've had women here, but everybody's over 18. I'm freaked out about, and what do I get out of being super honest, man? Telling everybody what my prescriptions are and everything, on my YouTube videos. I'm putting notes up and everything. Ty, let me finish. I don't get nothing out of it. I get the fact that I can look at myself in the mirror and say, hey, you know what, man? That's who you were, and that's who you are, and that's who you're gonna, and this is where you hope to be. But this is honesty for myself. It's self-affirmation. I read that on Saturday Night Live. What was his name? Stuart Smalley. I think everybody's a bit cowardly to perpetuate their own hidden agendas and their own defense mechanisms to keep them so cut off from everybody else. That's the only heroic thing I'm doing. I'm trying to be an example to my son in a way that I've never seen a man be for me. in my life growing up, with the continued honesty, not the kind that just makes you look good in front of them. And then you work on the character defects so you don't have as much in reserve crap in your personal life that you're ducking out of all the time. That's why you don't move, and you become distant and ineffective. I don't want to lose my son. Communicate with him. I got to be worth knowing. All right, so I support our congressman who's in office at this time. I support our mayor who's an elected official who's in office at this time. I supported all of them, as far as being law-abiding, cooperative to social services and any agencies that were asking personal questions about me over years, and continuing to support any positive efforts to bring people some kind of a relief that they can talk to each other and not have the fear of harm of losing their job or getting harmed physically for doing so. This new racism thing that came out, and my son has been the reason why I'm connected to the planet in a different way, that I don't just do what I used to do to shake hands with who I used to shake hands with. He's been under he's shown me the environment, the current, since he's been going to school, and the first grade on, and I didn't know how rotten and violent it got over time. We've been accused of calling people N-words and this words and that words. You know what? We've been assaulted at public swimming pools with gangs of teenagers we're naked in no swim trunks, coming out of the shower. Years ago, this kid was at my hand. He was little. Well, 5 years ago. And we've had a number. It's like every year we have some kind of a bullshit story to just squeak through. And we're not starting anything. My feeling is that the odds are going to catch up to us one of these days. We're going to overreact, or we're not going to make it. We're just going to be at the wrong place at the wrong time. And we're not doing nothing but basic family outing. Barbecue at the park, something like that. The tendency for violence and racism and segregation and the fat cats and the who's in charge of this council seat and all this bullshit, you know what, you're not doing anything about it. I hear these local guys on the radio, all of a sudden they get radio time. Sunday morning, 5 o'clock, it's like brainwash technique. It used to be AM radio only, now it's on the rock channels, and there are no rock channels anymore. Now there's a few commercial stations that still play music, period, and they're all formatted rigidly to have no more than 2 sentences. Yeah, that's okay, Tyler. 2 sentences of an opinion through their music. They got, it's sad. It's just sad. I don't know. If there was a place I knew I could move to, I would be there. But I don't see anything happening but more of the same. I am starting to feel like it's outside of America. I can't be Canadian because it's too cold up there, and I got this neck injury. I don't know. It's that crazy for me sometimes that I wondered how far I lived in Germany, and I didn't want to come back. They wouldn't let me come. They didn't let me European process out of the United States Army back then because of the type of discharge I had, which was overturned and full honorable reinstated with full reinstatement of rank. 14 years later, I mention it again. But had things have gone the right way for me, I probably would have been in Germany. I was content with growing my hair long, getting a ponytail, and baking bread at a bakery in Germany. That was my dream when I was, for 3 years in the infantry. I was thinking, And wouldn't it be just great if I just could hang out and just, because it was very laid back for me back there. It was real for me to out process out there, and they wouldn't let me do it. I had to go to Jersey, and I got kicked out the post, and it was like, you can't even use the PX anymore. You're scum.